Yeehaw, howdy partners. This is Massive Effect, massiveeffectmarketing.com. We make your website go from this to this right here. Today we've got another web design disaster right over here at care, what's that say? Cart, something title.com, carteret.com. So yeah, let's check it out. First things first, we're here on the home page, and the first lesson to learn is the depth of this header area. Notice that the buttons and the navigation and all that goodness kind of almost covers the entire initial screen here. For instance, if you come on down to here, we've got the header just being this section, right? And then we've got the hero section, the hero shot, the whatever, the banner, the slideshow right here. Let me show you another example. Over a laugh of pint. So this is kind of how you wanna do your headers like this, right? But these blokes, they just kept going and going, right? And this is not good because they've wasted this real estate. This real estate is super important, and they've taken it all up needlessly with all these elements spread all over the place. You don't need to have your logo twice here. Like, this is probably some sort of a coding error. Like, the fact that this is up here, you know, divorced from the rest of the design, is kind of floating up there. That makes me think that there's a mistake in the code, and this is not supposed to be visible. In fact, let's copy that, Control F, oops, Control U, open the source, Control F, Control V, and it's right there. Oh look, this is great. So this is a coding error. We've got the heading 1 and the heading 2, these two juicy guys, all right? And they're actually included in the wrong part of the code. That's why it's highlighted red here. So this is an actual coding error. It needs to be these two little doodads, these two headings, they need to be put down here. I won't get into the technicals on you, but so that's why it's all up there. Anyway, long story short, too much real estate being consumed up here. This is a really good format. You know, you put your logo on the side, you put your navigation, you put a call to action. You don't need to keep reinventing the wheel when it comes to your navigation and your header. The simpler the better. This is a tried and true format, and that's what they should do. And you know, grab this guy, move him up. And you can have more complex stuff, like if we go on down to frontline guttering, gonna clean them gutters. So in this case, you know, we're throwing in the address, we're throwing in the phone number. You could also throw in your socials, all right? And this is just a tasteful way of laying out that navigation so it's not hogging up all the real estate. So I get it if you do have more than just your logo and your links. You want to put this goodness up here, you can go ahead and do that and make it just a little small bar up here. So the reason I'm saying to conserve space on this initial screen, the reason why I'm saying don't use it all up for this stuff is because you need to be making space for your value proposition. And that's what this is right here. That's what this A is right here. We protect your roof from damage by professional guttering cleaning services. That should be reworded with our professional gutter cleaning services. It's kind of like, this is what we do for you. This is the solution we're providing to your problem, in one quick statement. We over here at Massive Effect, we try to get it as short as possible, right? Your website is garbage, we'll fix it. That also serves. But this down here is also value proposition. We help small business owners get more sales by transforming their disappointing websites into fierce revenue generating machines. A little bit wordy, but that's the idea of the value proposition. It lets the prospect know they're on the right website, because how do they really know they're on the right website? When you see something like this, it's just, I don't even know, right? I see this Nationwide Title Services, but it's kind of washed out and kind of weird looking. It looks old to me. It reminds me of the 90s. So I'm not really paying a lot of attention to it. long story short, you want to get your nice juicy value proposition put right over here so that the user is oriented. You got to think of the user experience on your website. Bam, I land on here, I'm going to be decently oriented because there's so much breathing room here, right? I'm going to look at this. This should actually even be bigger, just looking at it now, right? All right, same thing over here. We're oriented with the value proposition. And in fact, we should actually put some tinting around this text so it's even more readable. Like it is way more readable right now. So you want to get that value proposition having a lot of breathing room, and then you want to have your call to action under it. This is just a very good way to lay it out. All right, so they're not doing that at all over here. This has got to go. Shrink down the logo, move the socials. This is way too much navigation. I mean, sweet Lord. When I see this, I don't even want to read through it. Like, what do we got? We got 6, 6, and 2. So that's 14 links on the navigation on 3 rows, no less. Who in the world does 3 rows of navigation? No bueno. And it even continues down over here in this sort of different format. So you want to get your navigation on one line. Notice how we've got, what, 7 links up here? All right, 5 over here, pretty minimal. What do we got here, 7? So that's kind of a good number. Once you start stacking them in like this, it's just no one's going to want to look at this. And the problem is you need them to look at it because the navigation is where you figure out where you want to go on the website. So you got to make some drop-down menus, all right, like this, and just stuff the stuff in there and put only the most important major links up top. So this whole thing needs to be redone. One thing they're doing right is they've got a little video. Videos are really good for the web, and they help really to build that trust. We've got a video review, so they get massive points, mate, for that one. Bravo. They lose some points for multiple calls to action. I'm sorry, multiple calls to action, CTAs. You know, we've got a call now, we've got order services, we've got a free quote, see reviews. That is just a big old no-no. You only want to do 1, possibly 2, depending on the situation, the calls to action. When you give the person a choice, you're then entering in indecisiveness. You cannot give choices on your website. You need to be very direct. You do this next, this is next, this is next. All right, the choices are very limited. Anywho, so that needs to get sorted out. We continue on, and then we've got, okay, fine, you know, their content section, and then this looks like, oh wow, these are reviews. Wait, I can't tell. Yeah, this is really lost on me. I now get it. These are reviews, but at first I thought it was links to blog articles because it kind of looks like that on some of those websites. What's that other one? Never mind. I have an example, but never mind. So yeah, we've got some reviews which are totally invisible. The funny thing when you do this 2-column layout, I do not recommend this 2-column layout. This is deadly because all this stuff here on the right hand side is going to be ignored because this is where ads go usually, or have gone for many years. So no one's going to look at your testimonials. Not only are they washed out with this white and periwinkle blue text color, this is not visible, and then people will have banner blindness because this section of a website is invisible to the eye because people have been desensitized to all the advertisements. So that's got to go. This is great that we've got some logos, some trust elements. You can put them at the bottom. It's a little off kilter that there's only 2. You want to at least have 3. You gotta work in 1s, 3s, and 5s. Oftentimes with design, sometimes 2 works. It just depends on what you're doing. But for something like this, you want to go with an odd number, 3s or 5s, whatever. But we got to get some more. And it is fine if you put these at the bottom. I see people putting them at the bottom. Sometimes people put them right at the top. Both are good. I do like mine at the top. If we come on down to the nuclear effect, this is an implementation of that. Like, they're not taking anything for, not making any assumptions. They want you to know that they've been featured in Forbes and in CBS, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it's good they've got their logos. We just got to get a few more. We hit the bottom and we just have a bunch of buttons, and it's kind of it. So all in all, this is, this is pretty awful. This goes in the, what do we call it? The world's worst. But I hope that you've been able to look at what we're talking about and then go ahead and look at your website and see if you have the similar things. A lot of websites have this problem with the header and the navigation covering way too much space, and then therefore your value proposition is not even visible. And your value proposition's got to be visible. So this is a huge problem. If you have that issue, you got to go get that handled ASAP. And of course, cleaning up the nav, we already went over all that stuff. One thing we didn't go over is everything that's missing, right? We're just looking at everything that's here, but there is so much missing. Like, good Lord. What do we have? Well, we have a navigation, video, about us, testimonials that no one sees, and then some buttons and some logos. It's really splashed together. There's no flow. When we come on down to frontline guttering, we've got the value proposition. We're going to segment out the audience, so there's different people and they all need a different message, right? So if we're here on this title search company, is it current homeowners or is it prospective homeowners, right? So this is a good section you can add, because you might have a different message for each audience. I think some businesses have just one audience, but some have multiples. For instance, let's say you were doing first aid. Let's say you were certifying people on CPR. There's different people who come to be certified. There's teachers, there's personal trainers, and there's babysitters for one, right? And all three of those have different, they all need the same service, but you're going to talk them all a little bit differently. Here's a nice introduction section that other website doesn't have. The other website doesn't have objections that are handled, right? Recent projects, that's not really applicable. The process, this would be very good, right? They could have a section on how the process works, because it might be very confusing, right? How does the whole title search service work, right? So oftentimes you'll have a whole big bunch of paragraphs like this, and these just need to be split up into individual sections, right? Like, check this out, 24-hour turnaround time. That is one piece of information I would feature. So this one has 3 pieces. So outstanding customer service, friendly employees, flexible hours, competitive rates. That's 4 things. But no one wants to read this paragraph. So what you got to do is you've got to make it into something like this. All right. You go ahead and you take this paragraph of data, take each individual selling point, and then format it like this. And this communicates way more than this. People are just going to blow through this paragraph. They're not going to read it. So that's something you see often. You'll have all sorts of good stuff in these paragraphs, but no one wants to go ahead and read through all this unless they're already very interested, right? The people who are already ready to buy, they will read this, but for the majority of your visitors, they're just kind of curious, a little bit curious. Anyway, that's about it. I hope you found that helpful. Come on down to masseffectmarketing.com. We can take care of you. We've been doing it forever, literally. And if you've got a website, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll take a peek, and we can see what suggestions we can make so you can start rock and rolling and getting those dollar bills. All right, so until then, thank you very much, and take care.